Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. And today, guys, we are definitely talking about foods that make us better. From all the research, all the data that we have on people who, without any biohacks or technology, managed to live to their hundreds and sometimes beyond without a lot of health problems and certainly without medications. So the data that we have on these people shows us that next eating pattern that you're gonna learn about today work the best for human beings, for human health. From everything that we know so far. Maybe we will discover something else, but that's what we know for now. So let's talk about it. What eating patterns or eating behaviors or eating habits, and specifically what foods will help you to get the most nutrition and to live to 100s and beyond without major health problems and having to be on medication. Well, first of all, of course, guys, processed food, processed sugars, all sort of novel ingredients aren't on that menu. Surprise, surprise, we added all of these new ingredients that you can't even pronounce on the ingredients lists. We added them to our food supply quite recently, maybe in the past 50 years tops. Most of the ingredients that you see on the labels now haven't even been around sometimes for 10 years, sometimes for 20 years. So they're very new thing to human nutrition, and I highly recommend you to include as few as possible of those ingredients, because again, that's a science experiment and we don't know how that's going to turn out. From what we are seeing right now, the health effects of all of these processed foods and added ingredients that we haven't used before in human history, it's not going that well. Heart disease, cancers, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, all of this stuff, it's getting worse and worse. People, whenever it kind of live longer, but kind of not. Now they say that lifespan, even with all the medical advancements, lifespan for a lot of countries where people eat a lot of processed foods, lifespans are going down. So that's an indication that there is something wrong, and that might be what we are doing to our food. So processed foods, novel ingredients, ingredients that you don't understand, probably not a great experiment to run on your digestive system and on your body. Okay, so now more or less you understand what not to eat. Any packaged foods, if you read the ingredients lists, and please do read those lists. If you don't understand something and there are too many ingredients, especially non-food ingredients, don't buy that food. As simple as that. Most of your food should be whole foods, cooked in some healthy way, meaning not frying at high temperature with a bunch of oil of questionable origin and then adding a ton of sauces and dressings with, again, added ingredients. So that's probably not the best way to cook your food, or to grill it till it has a lot of black stuff on it that is proven to be pro-cancerous. That's probably also not the best idea to cook your food. But sauteing with water, with healthy oils like olive oil, coconut oil, adding herbs, spices, salt to that, and all kinds of natural ingredients like lemon juice for flavor, or good quality soy sauce, all natural. That's a cool way to cook your food, to make it even more good for you. But guys, whole foods are not created equal. There are certain foods that seem to be on menus of the longest living people and people who stay healthy long term, healthy, fit, and thriving. And there is a reason for that, guys, why these foods are on the menu of people living the longest, who manage to live the longest. Because these foods actually contain the most provide the most nutrients that human body needs, those essential vitamins and minerals that we know human body requires to thrive. And so the more of these nutrients and foods containing these essential nutrients, the more of these foods you eat, you put on your plate daily, the longer and healthier you're probably gonna be. And you're probably gonna live longer again without diseases or major complications that require medications. So what are these foods? And actually, most people who study nutrition and not trying to sell you another diet, they kind of agree that these are the foods that we all need to be including in our diets on a regular basis. And I personally try to add some of these foods every day, some of this every week, but on a regular basis. Because again, every book I read on nutrition, on some study about longest living people, everything I read, it seems to point to the same kinds of foods. And when I did my own research and ran all these food through nutrition calculators, figuring out what kind of nutrients they have per bite, per calorie, and how well they nourish human body, when I did my research, I came up with the same list. And it's just funny how we all agree on that, but somehow it's not in our education system, or our food system isn't built around these foods. They advertise all kinds of other foods, but not these ones. So what kinds of foods are on the lists of menus, on the menus of longest living, healthiest people? Liver and organ meats. Let's start there. So I personally eat chicken livers, about 8 to 10 ounces of it every single week. Sometimes they say, you gotta eat liver a little bit every day. It's the best practice. And it probably is, but what I found, I can't really imagine myself to spread out all these foods. For me, it's easier to eat it once a week, make a meal out of chicken liver, for example, my favorite, and it seems to have the most beneficial nutrition profile for human beings compared to livers of other animals. So chicken livers, I make a big meal once a week. Other foods on this list: shellfish, especially things like mussels, oysters, sea snails or whelks. We have crab meat. We have but then also all the other shellfish, lobsters, and what else? Prawns are not that high in nutrients. So if you want to, have the most nutrients in your shellfish, then you probably want to go with the ones that are shelled. So all kinds of mollusks and clams, again, mussels or oysters or other kinds. There are so many kinds, right? So shellfish, super high in many minerals like iron, zinc, iodine, but also omega-3s and great sources of protein. So many things shellfish has going for it. So shellfish included, especially the one that is in shells, all kinds of clams. So please do include these on your daily, on your weekly menu. I personally eat shellfish a couple of times per week, usually mussels, because they seem to have the more balanced, most nutrition profile, like a lot of omega-3s, zinc and iron and iodine and selenium and B12 and other nutrients. Oysters, whenever I get my hands on oysters, I also eat oysters, but it's not always easy to get them. But all kinds of clams, I eat them every week, at least once a week, about like 10 ounces or 300 grams, but usually a couple of times per week. Fish, specifically fatty fish, is also on this list. Fish with omega-3 fatty acids like mackerel, herring, salmon, sardines, of course. So all these foods have not just these beneficial for our brain and our heart omega-3 fatty acids, but they also, again, great sources of protein. If you eat canned sardines, like I absolutely love doing, then you also get a lot of calcium in bones that are soft in those cans because of the way they are cooked. So sardines, canned salmon, a great source of calcium also. But omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, DHA specifically, super amazing for your brain and your heart health. And your brain and your heart health, pretty important for your longevity and long-term health. Then we have eggs that are like powerhouses of nutrition. If you don't have any allergies to eggs, guys, eat them every day, every other day. They have so many nutrients from choline to essential fatty acids, to good amount of protein, to vitamin A, to vitamin D, a lot of B vitamins. So eggs, so amazing for you. And I'm talking about whole eggs, not egg whites, because egg whites have some nutrients, but not as much when it comes to vitamins and minerals as egg yolks have. So eggs, eat them whole, eat them often, and also add some variety. Sometimes chicken eggs, sometimes quail eggs, sometimes duck eggs, maybe, I don't know, some other eggs. There are so many different kinds of birds that make eggs. Dairy products, guys, specifically fermented dairy products like naturally fermented kefirs or yogurt. Besides having probiotics, obviously the dairy is quite a good source of calcium, super important for your brain function, for your muscle contraction, and your heart is also a muscle, and your stomach is also a muscle. So your heart health, your digestive health, calcium is needed to create digestive enzymes to help you to digest fats and proteins. Also, dairy products are quite great sources of potassium that is important for hydration, for creation of energy, for cell communication, for so many things. So dairy, amazing, specifically fermented dairy, amazing for your health. Milk, try to avoid it, especially the milk bought in most supermarkets. Fermented dairy is a different product from milk because bacteria, those probiotics that we all love, they actually pre-digest fats and proteins in dairy products. And a lot of people who I work with, they don't tolerate milk. They always have either some skin issues or some digestive issues, but they're really good with fermented dairy, especially things like kefir that tend to be more sour, where all the lactose, all the sugars, and all the proteins are more digested than in other kinds of yogurts. So fermented dairy products. Then let's get to plant kingdom. So till this point, we were talking about the most nutritious animal foods. And you might ask me, what about chicken? What about red meat? Basically muscle meat. Quite good too, especially for iron and zinc. So I eat red meat every I was going to say every Thursday, but basically once a week I eat red meat too. And again, it's about 10 to 15 ounces per day when I eat that red meat. And so variety, as you can see, as the key. My personal principle is every day I try to rotate the protein source and make it my protein of the day. So one day a week I fast. Then dairy products I actually eat every day for probiotics, for calcium, for potassium. And then once a week I eat eggs. Once a week I eat shellfish. Well, actually twice a week. Once a week I eat liver. Once a week I eat fatty fish. Once a week I eat red meat. Sometimes I can make one day when I'm vegetarian or vegans, and I fast every week one day. And so I rotate these protein sources that are also super rich in other nutrients, and it seems to work pretty damn good. And it's also pretty doable, guys. You just, when I shop, I just have to buy some fatty fish, some liver, some red meat, some eggs, some shellfish. Did I mention shellfish? A lot of fermented dairy products, and I'm done. And I just cook that one protein for the day. Now let's get back to the most nutritious plant foods. Not all plants are created equal, and not all vegetables are created equal, guys. For example, if you are eating salads with a lot of different lettuces, I consider lettuce to be a waste of chewing time because it's so not rich in nutrients. There is a lot of water, there is some fiber, but really not as nutritious as something, let's say, like spinach or Swiss chard or collard greens. These are probably, and kale, these are probably although kale, I must say, a lot of people have problems, digestive issues with kale, especially if it's raw. So just be aware of that. Not all plants are equally tolerable by people's digestive systems. But anyhow, these greens, like spinach, like collard greens, like Swiss chard, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, they're not equal to lettuces. It's not the same, guys. So you can skip lettuce, but eat all the other stuff like spinach, collard greens, Swiss chard, and broccoli, and Brussels sprouts, and asparagus, also super high in nutrients, and green beans. So eat these foods. They are super high in nutrients. So when it comes to plant kingdom, greens, these green powerful vegetables that I just named, it's best if you cook them a bit, at least for 10 minutes, depending on how mature they are and the temperature you use. So use these greens every single day, at least a cup. I usually go for 200-300 grams, about, 7 to 10 ounces. Greens are on the plates of all centenarians, and they have the least calories and the most nutrients per that calorie. Although, per bite, not so much, because they usually have a lot of volume and also very hydrating with a lot of water. Anyhow, greens, eat them. Then all the other colorful vegetables are amazing too, with a lot of antioxidants, polyphenols, and vitamin C, and a lot of other different vitamins and minerals. And again, vegetables, all of them, they have different nutrition profiles. So I always recommend to go for variety. Don't just stick with one vegetable. No, when you go shopping, pick up something new, a little bit of different kinds of vegetables. I usually go, for like spinach, broccoli, sometimes Brussels sprouts, sometimes cauliflower, sometimes collard greens, sometimes Swiss chard. Like I just pick up 6 of those like different ones for every day, and then might pick up additional green like spinach to it to all of my meals every day. So just add variety, and the same with colorful veg. Like sometimes it's tomatoes, sometimes it's bell peppers, sometimes it's something else. So variety is the key. Then what else? So we have tubers that some people consider vegetables too, but they're tubers and starchy vegetables. They're a little bit different from the vegetables that we talked about before that. I'm talking about sweet potatoes, specifically orange and purple, and all kinds of other tubers. Even potatoes, although some people have problems with nightshades. Potatoes and sweet potatoes, guys, they're not the same family. So you might have issues with potatoes, but no issues with sweet potatoes. And they are actually in different kingdoms, in different families of plants. And so eat those tubers. And along with beans, all sorts of beans and lentils, I recommend to make these your beans, your legumes, and your tubers your to-go starchy carbohydrate source. And you don't need pasta at all to get your carbs. Eat this veg instead. Beans and starchy tubers like sweet potatoes, eat them instead of your pasta. You don't need pasta, but these vegetables and beans and lentils, they're super high in nutrients, especially lentils and beans, guys. Have them at least 2-3 times per week. If you want to have them every day, have them every day. Beans, by the way, are on the menu of all of the centenarians. Like in some form or the other, they eat them every day. And maybe they have such positive health effect because of folate that helps us to protect our DNA in our cells when we copy cells, when we replicate our cells, right? So maybe because of that, maybe because of all the other vitamins and minerals and fibers that feed our gut, they're so good for us. So beans, lentils in all forms, eat them, just cook them properly, soak and then pressure cook them or cook them for 20-30 minutes on like simmer kind of heat, so really small one. Cook them for a long time and you'll kill all the anti-nutrients and get just the benefits. So beans and tubers, other two groups that you need to include every day as your carb. Then we have nuts and seeds, also amazing sources of minerals, of healthy fats, essential fats, of fibers, some protein also. So nuts and seeds, especially focus on walnuts for essential omega-3s and omega-6s, on sunflower seeds for vitamin E that is hard to get in that amount in other foods. Then we have Brazil nuts, 2-3 Brazil nuts for selenium that is super important for your thyroid health, for your immune health. So these nuts and seeds, also pumpkin seeds, high in zinc and magnesium. So all these mighty seeds and nuts, include them also every day. I usually have 3-4 servings, meaning 3-4 handfuls of these nuts and seeds, usually some walnuts, some sunflower seeds, some Brazil nuts. So include them in your nutrition every day. And then we have berries and fruit. Berries are super high in antioxidants and polyphenols, different vitamins, fruit, colorful fruit. But yeah, to be honest, the highest in nutrients and antioxidants in fruit kingdom are berries. So if you were to choose what's your favorite fruit, choose berries for longevity and health. And then eat all the other fruit. There is so much goodness in fruit and they are so hydrating. And so yeah, fruit, eat your fruit, eat your berries. They are also on the menu of people living the longest. And also eating fruit on a regular basis kills your cravings for all the sweet stuff that isn't good for you, like desserts and stuff like that. Since I started incorporating fruit in my daily meal plan, I never crave anything sweet because I'm like, why? I'm eating all this delicious, absolutely like juicy, nutritious fruit. Why would I have something like a Snicker bar that doesn't have at all that like deliciousness and freshness and juiciness? So anyhow, I'm a huge fan of fruit, as you can tell. And here you go, guys. Include these foods on a regular basis and you'll be thriving and your cravings will start disappearing and you'll have so much more energy and your body weight will stabilize and your hormones and your mental health and so many things will get better if you build your meal plan around these foods. Again, how I do it, I introduce one of the proteins into my daily meal plan. I usually have one major big cooked meal a day, and then the rest is fruit, dairy products, some nuts and seeds. So, introduce for every day of the week things like fatty fish, liver and other organ meats, shellfish, especially different kinds of clams, oysters, mussels, eggs, red meat, rotate them on a weekly basis to get all of the nutrients, all the different nutrients. And to accompany these protein sources, add some green veg every single day, some nuts and seeds, especially walnuts, sunflower seeds, some beans and lentils and starchy tubers is your to-go carbohydrate sources. Add more colorful veg, add mushrooms for more potassium, prebiotic fibers, and umami, savory flavor. Eat some berries and fruit, either in the beginning of the day or the beginning of your meals for better digestion. And in this simple way, you're going to be eating all of these nutrient-packed foods that are on the meals on the plates of all the longest living people, the healthiest people. And then avoid all the processed foods and ingredients that you don't understand. Start reading ingredients list. And again, you'll start thriving the more you do it. This is the best, hands down, diet for a human being, again, because these foods are so rich in nutrients that are essential for human health. Now, if you have any questions, if you'd like to see how I personally eat, what a day of food looks like in my world, follow my Instagram, Angela Shurina on Instagram. You can search for that, or at 1000 year young. Longevity is huge for me, as feeling and looking my best. Also, huge things for me that I am optimizing for. See how I'm eating every day. I'm posting all of my food in my stories on Instagram. Today I'm going to be releasing a video telling people, sharing with people what I eat in a day and what kind of calories, proteins, and fats and other nutrients are in my food. So follow my Instagram to check out that video that is coming today. And guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned. Share this podcast so other people can eat the most nutritious foods and can thrive now and many years from now. And as usual, guys, till next time, eat better daily.